They worked long hours. They worked in the sun. But they never got paid, and now it looks like they never will. The problem was Coachella. Welcome in, short week for us, a lot to get caught up on, and we'll start with an exclusive story we told you about a few weeks ago. Many of the people that work Coachella and Stagecoach on the food and beverage side were not paid. Some owed as much as $7,000. Well, we finally learned AEG, who controls the polo grounds, employs Levy to handle food and beverage there. It was Levy who subcontracted with Dirk Alton and his company BBC to hire the people that worked those events. So Levy paid Dirk, and Dirk was supposed to pay the people. Except it was known Dirk had serious financial problems. So much so the government was looking into it. That was no secret. A lot of folks got stiffed. I reached out to Levy and asked, knowing all of this, why would you subcontract with Dirk Alton? Here is the response from a Levy spokesperson. We had previously contracted with Best Beverage Catering as a third-party food service operator, but neither the company nor Dirk Alton are providing any such services in association with us moving forward. Financial matters pertaining to BBC and its business are out of our purview and therefore respectfully have no additional information or comment beyond we are owed a substantial amount of money from BBC. But so aren't many of you watching right now who work 12-hour days in the heat and never got paid. What should those people do? Let's welcome in our legal expert, Walter Clark. Walter, thanks for jumping on.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Fred. Good to see you.
All right. You know the story. The people worked at Coachella and Stagecoach. They got stiffed. A few people were each owed $7,000. Nobody's getting their money. The guy who hired him is completely broke. The IRS is after him. The company that subcontracted said, it's not our problem. We hired him. What do these people do?
Well, they have the right to go. This is just basic stuff to the Labor Commission in California, and that entity will pursue the claim, as you can also sue yourself for up to 3 years against the individual who is responsible. The problem is in California, only 1 in 7 of those cases actually results in compensation to the victim. You can win the case, but collecting is the big problem. So from a legal standpoint, the question here is from whom else might we collect? And that is the question of what we call up-chain liability. It's also one that says, are these other people above them joint employers? Do they have responsibility also? And the way to answer the question is who is in control? Totally outrageous and unfair to stiff these people. And I see this labor contractor done the same thing to concert people in Florida. Ridiculous.
So basically, what we're saying is these people that got stiffed just might be screwed. I mean, they may never get paid.
I think so. And what's really angering me is if you've ever bought a drink at one of those places, it's really expensive. I think some of those profits probably go up the chain and others are benefiting from the labor. It is unfair. Eventually, we got the law changed so they go up chain and collect there. But, you know, the guy on the bottom is really at risk. It's too bad.
All right. Walter, appreciate you jumping on. Thanks for the advice tonight.
Have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Now there is an iconic place in Cathedral City that is closing, and it's going to impact many in the LGBTQ community. The Barracks will shut its doors for the final time on August 3rd, a massive blow for many in Palm Springs and Cat City. Aaron Aldoresio joins us tonight. Aaron, thanks for jumping on.
Absolute pleasure, Fred.
Okay, this is sad for the Barracks, isn't it? I think a lot of people are upset.
It's not just sad for the Barracks, it's sad for the community. It's definitely a one-of-a-kind space in our area and the West Coast in general. So it's something a lot of us are still processing. It was just announced, I think, earlier this week officially. So, yeah, it's breaking news.
All right. And there were some code violations, right? I mean, that's ultimately what got them.
As far as we know, we know what the Barracks has said, which is that their ABC, the alcohol board for the state of California, for people who don't know, revoked their license. We know the city of Cathedral City had nothing to do with it. and they gave them a short window. And yeah, it's really been a big blow to the community. A lot of people are talking online.
All right, Aaron, what did that place mean to all of those people?
Well, the barracks, it's hard to explain in a way for people who haven't been there, because it's beyond a dive bar. It's definitely part of an old school kind of gay queer culture that is a little rougher around the edges, a little based in maybe biker leather culture. The barracks was the place for a wide swath of gay LGBTQ plus misfits that live in the Coachella Valley and people that came to visit them and our area.
All right, so you want to give the misfits a good send-off, right? You're planning something big.
We definitely want to give them a good send-off. I throw a party and part of a DJ collective called Dry Heat. I came from Los Angeles. My two partners came from San Francisco. We all moved here within the past 2 years, and we wanted to bring a little something we didn't think was represented in town, which was a queer party that was more music focused, though, that wasn't about what you look like, what type of gay you are. We wanted to do something that was about great music, dancing, bringing people together, and community. And the barracks has become our de facto home because it was what was most in line with our sort of ethos. And it's not just us, it's so many people. So they had asked us when I believe when they found out they were closing very last minute to do another party there. Somehow pulled it together for tomorrow night to book a legendary DJ named Steve Fabus. He has DJ'd all over the world for the past 5 decades. And it's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. They're actually hosting a memorial for a staff member who had sadly passed away earlier in the afternoon. And then we have a couple hours to turn it around, work our magic, and make the space great. We'll open doors at 9 p.m. and let people in. And we're just hoping to have a joyous celebration and send-off for a place that means a lot to a lot of people.
Well, that being the case, blow the doors off the joint tomorrow. Have a great time.
Thank you, Fred. We're going to do our best.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Palm Desert Mayor Karina Quintanilla was on the program earlier in the week talking about the lack of transparency and frustration dealing with the Coachella Valley Animal Services. Well, what's the big secret here? What's the big secret, Mayor?
I don't know. If we were able to get more numbers, we would be able to look through and find out where things are. It took so many times of asking and saying, okay, give us the commission, the information of what each city is paying so we know what we're getting. What are the services? Do we need more spending, or do we need this city need more? Does it need less? Why can't that come out into the open? Why don't we get a budget the way any other commission or committee shows up and says, here's our accounting practices? Why can't we get that?
And now this. Jeff Van Wegenen is the CEO of Riverside County, so he oversees everything. Buck stops with him. Now, he refuses to talk with Mary Strong. So let's break this down. Manuel Perez, the supervisor for this district, banned Mary from all meetings and then canceled all meetings. Now the person who oversees him, in essence his boss, refuses to talk about it. Is anybody accountable? Philip, who was an attorney, wrote us, this stinks so intensely. It has to reach the office of the state of California Attorney General. Time for search warrants and arrests. Now, no one would have ever suggested anything like that if the people overseeing Riverside County were good neighbors. Never heard of a ghost kitchen before, but Paul in Rancho Mirage wants to warn everybody using delivery service to look out for them. Kay in Palm Desert needs a vintage coffee cart vendor for an early morning gig on July 22nd. Francis in La Quinta is looking for a local Avon rep. Avon calling? Anybody out there? And Norma in Thousand Palms having a problem with her mail gone missing. Anybody else in the Tri-Palms Estates having the same problem?
You think you know everything and we know nothing? Prove it.
Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Roggin. You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
Maybe you are the smartest person in the room.
Leaping lizards, everybody gather around the radio. It's time for our show. So no matter how old you are, exercise is a good thing. And before you exercise, it's important to stretch. Some people do it with more flair than others, and if you're not limber, you got to face it. Is it just me, or did you experience the exact same thing I did? I pulled a hamstring watching that guy. In the days following World War II, the television was not yet available, so all of the informative and entertaining content could be tuned in on the radio. And much of that content was produced right here in Palm Springs.
From Palm Springs, California, it's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products.
Notable figures such as Cary Grant, David Niven, Groucho Marx would entertain what was then newly opened American Legion post for armed service members who had newly returned home from World War II. The only problem, that when radio stars such as Al Jolson and Judy Garland were here in the desert, they couldn't be in Los Angeles where most of the national radio shows originated. So working with engineers from CBS and NBC, the Legionnaires built a control room, brought in transmitting equipment, and in 1948, listeners across the nation tuned into the Kraft Music Hall starring Al Jolson. Other shows would follow, such as the Lucky Strike Radio Hour and the Phil Harris and Alice Faye Show. As popular as those programs were, the transmissions would come to an end in '53 when television was introduced to the general public. Then in 2015, an investigation was conducted by an amateur radio club who discovered an old abandoned closet in the American Legion building and figured out it was the control room. They had discovered that deep within the closet was the original radio equipment that allowed those shows to be heard nationwide, as well as some of the original recordings. Still to come on the program tonight, a group of heroes, an update on mayhem at Monterey, and what to do in the Valley. They say sometimes it takes a village. In this case, the dedicated staff and volunteers at Martha's Village and Kitchen. They are our heroes of the week. Martha's Village and Kitchen, one of the largest providers of homeless and impoverished services in the Coachella Valley in Riverside County. They offer unique, life-changing programs to help break the cycle of homelessness and poverty. Their mission statement, a community where all people have the opportunity to live to their full potential, where everyone has food, housing, healthcare, education, and the means to maintain them. For all they do, they are our heroes of the week. Something that's going on in Palm Desert that ultimately could affect everyone in the valley. How many bedrooms does your house have? It's the story of deception that may cost you money. Carrie Krufel joins us again tonight. All right, Carrie, as always, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me on, Fred.
Okay, your quest continues. Where are you?
My quest continues. Well, I spent last week doing research at Palm Desert City Hall and discovered that the lakes in Chaparral are also affected. I looked at their approved construction plans, and the rooms attached to the atrium were approved by the city as dens. And while I was there, I also discovered that the city had folders for Chaparral with advertising and marketing of floor plans that they had saved where these rooms were advertised as bedrooms. So the city was fully aware for years that Chaparral was being falsely advertised.
Okay, so if you bought a Chaparral, you thought you bought a bedroom. The reality is you actually bought a den, right?
Correct. So they're in the same situation as Monterey Country Club. I'm having tons of people from Chaparral and the Lakes reach out to me on next steps and what to do. We have decided that we will be moving forward with Sean Murphy. He's a local attorney, partner at SBMEP, and we are raising funds right now to start stage 1 of the legal process.
When it's all said and done, we've got the attorney, we're going in. What is the ultimate here? Is the ultimate everybody gets 3 bedrooms because the county said that's okay? Is the ultimate someone's going to compensate us for this and we're going to sue the developer? What's the end game?
The end game is compensation.
Okay.
I don't think we will get a 3-bedroom ruling due to regulations. So the end game is compensation from the city for negligence and discrimination, and possibly from the builders for false advertising.
Carrie, thanks for the update. We'll check in again.
Thanks, Fred. I appreciate your time.
Now, when we were on Tuesday, we talked about the California law prohibiting schools from notifying parents if they noticed a change in a child's gender. Our contributors look at it differently.
Listen, you got to have a good relationship with your kids. These schools are some of the safest places for kids who are having problems, not just with their gender identity, but with abuse. So I'm for letting kids be safe at school. And it's up to us as parents to be able to connect with our kids so that they feel comfortable enough to come talk to us about these things. I don't believe in outing out the kids. I think that's dangerous. And there's a lot of people who might commit suicide because of it.
Stephanie.
Couldn't disagree more. I don't know why all of a sudden the parents are the bad guys. The school, they're not their kids. And I think the school has a responsibility to teach children a good curriculum. I don't think they have the right to make decisions for the children. I think the parents should be involved in all of this.
All right. Comments on that. From Calvin, and this is a bit lengthy, but it resonates. Your discussion on your program regarding Assembly Bill 1955 brought up feelings from my childhood. My family was totally homophobic, and if I was outed as a child, there is no doubt in my mind that I would have been disowned or thrown out or possibly killed. Yes. Think about that. It was the late 70s. It was a different time where the closet was a safe space. I graduated high school, received a college scholarship, moved out, came out, and like I always knew, I was immediately disowned. I was a lucky one. James added, it is none of the damn school's business as to how a student identifies. That is a personal conversation which should be between the child and the child's family only, period. The heat just will not give up. Let's see what Director Alex has for us today in the super weather forecast.
I'm telling you, this heat's got me all hot and bothered. Sorry. I mean, I'm bothered because it's so f***ing hot.
All right, how does that make you feel? Paul, the people's weatherman, the plumber.
It's so hot, even the sun is sweating.
Yes, indeed, it's going to be hot, but you might have plans for the weekend. And if you don't, let's see what Craig Campbell from CoachellaValley.com suggests. All right, Craig, we know the weekend's going to be hot. What else is going on?
Hey, thanks for having me. You know, today is July and time is flying by. You know, we have just about a minute, so I'm going to put these things out there right away. Of course, Sunday, you guys have already reported on this. National Ice Cream Day, your local favorite Brandini, is offering toffee ice cream bars from 12 to 4 on Sunday at their locations. Tonight, 7 p.m., you're going to have to hurry down there. It's Bingo and Brews at Desert Beer Company. You can win all kinds of prizes. And the reason I want you guys to check it out is because the Coachella Valley Derby girls are the one hosting that bingo night. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Saturday, go check out AMP, the Academy of Music Performance. They're having their summer extravaganza. It's a 3-week camp. From the kids from 10 to 18 years old are doing that extravaganza at the Pollock Theater at COD. It's their culmination, and it's going to be an incredible, incredible event, 1 to 3 o'clock. So make sure you check that out. final reminder for you, wrap up, is that Abby Carter is playing on July 27th at Acrisure. Of course, it's her first live concert after she won the Idol. She turns 22 on July 31st. And that's your wrap up.
All right, Craig, busy weekend. Thanks so much as always.
Okay, see you later.
Okay, we're back with something indisputable right after this.
We never hear from anyone in Coachella or Desert Hot Springs.
Once in a while, say hi.
As a matter of fact, everybody tell us what you think.
Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Roggin or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
Hey, did you have any idea sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins can by slowing their heart rates down? Sloths can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes. Wow.
All right, quick comment from Joe, tonight's food for thought. California should consider increasing the liability insurance coverage, removing vehicles from the roadways that have expired insurance coverage and those that are uninsured. Okay, I got this from Scott, and I just want to read it real quick. I'm sure you heard Renova Energy is going out of business for a bit of time. I'm assuming that you've heard that Renova is shut down temporarily. My question, what do their current customers do like me if there's an issue with our system? Fortunately, our system is running well at the moment. All right, Vince from Renova posted on Instagram that current customers, they will continue to deal with them and take care of things as they get their business together. So current customers should be fine if you're with Renova. All right, we work 24/7 at NBC Palm Springs. You know the drill, the website. Click on the Roggin Report icon. You'll go to the show page. We got everything up there from tonight and our past shows as well. Short week for us. Well, didn't do much this week. But we're back with 5 shows next week. Look forward to seeing you. Have a great weekend.